Hello friends, welcome to Prashant IAS. Friends, before starting today's video, I would like to tell you that this video lecture is for English medium students. For Hindi medium students, there is a separate playlist on the channel. यह वीडियो लेक्चर इंग्लिश मीडियम स्टूडेंट्स के लिए बनाया गया है. हिंदी मीडियम स्टूडेंट्स के लिए चैनल पर अलग से प्लेलिस्ट है. So friends, in the last class, I have explained you about the meaning of political science. That what is political science. And I also told you that from next class, we will start our discussion with the Constitution of India. So friends, from today onwards, we will continue our discussion with the Constitution of India. So before studying the actual Constitution of India, it is our duty to understand that what is the meaning of Constitution. What is the definition of Constitution? What is Constitution? So friends, to make you understand what is Constitution, I will show you a picture. Friends, here on the screen, there is a picture of a mother and her babies and her children. So, she is the mother and all these 8 are her children. Now, I will ask some questions from you. So, friends, according to you, who came first? Mother or the children? So, definitely you will say that, sir, mother will come first and after mother, children will come because mother will give birth to her children. So, who came first? Mother or children? So definitely mother came first and after mother children will come. My second question is that who is supreme? Who is more powerful? Children are supreme or mother is supreme? So definitely I know that your answer would be that, sir, mother is supreme. Mother is more powerful. Children are not as powerful as their mother. Children are subordinate to their mother. Children are dependent on their mother. Mother is not dependent on children. So mother is supreme. My third question is, if there is a conflict between mother and children, then who will win? If there is a contradiction between the views of mother and children, then whose view will prevail? So definitely it is a common sense that you all will say that, sir, the view of mother will prevail. Mother will win. Why? Because mother is supreme. So friends, now I will explain you what is Constitution. So friends, now I will compare Constitution with mother. Constitution is the mother law and all other laws are just like the children of Constitution. So what is Constitution? Constitution is the mother law and all the other laws like Motor Vehicle Act, Representation of People Act, Citizenship Act, Hindu Marriage Act, AFSPA means Armed Forces Special Power Act, Special Marriage Act, Indian Evidence Act, Indian Penal Code and so on. They all are just like the children of Constitution. Constitution is the mother law. Now what conclusion can be made after this discussion? So friends, if Constitution is mother law and all other laws are just like the children of Constitution, then now again I will ask some questions from you. Now friends, tell me who came first, Constitution or the other laws? So definitely as Constitution is the mother law, so you will say that, sir, Constitution came first and after the Constitution all the other laws will come. Okay, so who came first? Constitution came first and after the Constitution other laws will come. Okay friends, so Constitution is the first law of the land. All the other laws will come after Constitution. Okay, so friends, now I will ask you second question, that who is more powerful? Who is supreme? Constitution is supreme or the other laws are supreme? So definitely as mother is supreme and Constitution is the mother law, so Constitution is very powerful. Constitution is much powerful than the other laws and Constitution is supreme. Friends, now I will ask you the third question. If there is a contradiction in the provisions of constitution and the provisions of other laws, then whose provision will prevail? If there is a conflict between constitutional law and other laws, then which law will prevail? So definitely constitutional law will prevail. Why? Because constitution is the supreme law of the land. So constitutional law will prevail. Constitution is the first law. Constitution is the basic law. Constitution is the supreme law of the land. So constitution is not dependent on the other laws, but all the other laws are dependent on the constitution. They are not as much powerful as constitution. Constitution is much powerful than the other laws. So friends, till now I have given you a little idea about constitution. Now I will give you a more deep meaning of constitution, or simply I will give you the definition of constitution. So what is the proper definition of constitution? So constitution is the fundamental and organic law of a nation that establishes the conception, character and organization of the government, and determines the extent of its sovereign powers and the manner to exercise the powers. Okay, so what is the definition of the constitution? Constitution is the fundamental and the organic law of a nation that establishes the conception, character and organization of the government, and determines the extent of its sovereign powers and the manner to exercise these powers. Now friends, I will explain you the meaning of this definition, because this definition is little bit complex and technical. So I will explain what are the keywords in this definition. Friends, I have highlighted the keywords in red color. So what are the keywords? Keywords are fundamental, organic, conception, character, organization, sovereign power, determines the extent of sovereign power and the manner to exercise these powers. So first of all, what I have said that constitution is the fundamental law. So what is meant by fundamental law? What is a fundamental law? So friends, you all must have seen the foundation of a building, or what is called as neev in Hindi, building ki neev. So you all must have seen the foundation of a building. The foundation of the building is so much important that the entire infrastructure of the entire building is dependent on the foundation. If foundation is weak, then the entire building is weak. If foundation is strong, then the entire building is strong. Similarly, constitution is the foundation of the legal framework of any country. Okay, so what is meant by fundamental law? Fundamental law means constitution is the basic law. Constitution is the first law. Constitution comes first, and after constitution all the other laws will come. Constitution is the foundational law. The entire legal framework of India, the constitution is the foundation of the entire legal framework of India. Okay, so what is meant by fundamental law? Fundamental law means constitution is the foundation of the entire legal framework of India. The entire legal framework of India is based on the constitution of India. Okay. Now friends, what is meant by the organic law? Why constitution is called as organic? So organic means constitution has the element of life. And now you will say, sir, how can constitution has the element of life? So friends, what is the element of life? Element of life is growth. What is the simplest definition of life? One who grows. And our constitution has the capability to grow. How? Article 368 of the Indian Constitution gives the power to amend the constitution and procedure to amend the constitution to the Parliament of India. It means that with changing time, our constitution can also change. With the need of time, our constitution can also change. The Parliament can amend the constitution when it feels necessary, so that constitution remains up to date with the time. It means that constitution has the element of life. Constitution can grow. Constitution can keep himself updated with time because of the Article 368. power to amend the constitution and procedure to amend the constitution. Now friends, constitution is the fundamental and organic law of a nation. So you all must be clear with the meaning of fundamental and organic. Now I will explain you the meaning of conception. What constitution does? What is the function of constitution? Okay, what is constitution? Constitution is the fundamental and organic law of a nation. What is the function of constitution? Constitution establishes the conception, character and organization of the government. So this is the basic function of constitution, that it establishes the conception, character and organization of the government. So I will explain you the meaning of these words one by one. So what is meant by conception? Conception of the government. Conception of the government means idea of the government. Where the idea of the government is given, it is given in the constitution. What is meant by the idea of government? It means that how the government will be conceived, how the government will be created, where it all is given. It all is given in the Constitution of India. We all know that in India the government is formed by elections. Okay, and where it is given that government will be formed by elections. Which type of election? Who will vote? This all is given in the Constitution of India. Okay, so constitution gives us the idea of government. Constitution tells us that how the government is conceived, how the government is created. So friends, what is the meaning of character? What is meant by the character of government? Character of government means the nature of government. What is the basic nature of government? Okay, for example, the nature of the Indian government is secular, sovereign, democratic republic and socialist. Where this all is given? This all is given in the Constitution of India. Constitution of India says that the Indian government would be secular, Indian government will be sovereign, Indian government will be democratic republic, Indian government will be socialist. Now what is meant by secular, sovereign, democratic republic? Okay, so friends, in the last class I have explained you the meaning of sovereign and sovereignty in much detail. So what is meant by sovereign? Sovereign means the supreme authority, or if I say that the government of India is sovereign, it means that government of India is independent in taking its decision internally as well as externally. Okay, so sovereign means the supreme authority, the authority which is independent in its decision making. Now I will explain you the meaning of secular. What is the meaning of secular? So friends, secular means that there is no official religion of the state. Do you know, is there any official religion of Indian state? No. The official religion of Pakistan state is Islam. The official religion of Pakistan state is Islam, but there is no official religion of Indian state. Okay. Secularism means secularism also means that for state all the religions are equal. There is no favorite religion of the state. State will not favor Hinduism. State will not favor Islam. State can also not discriminate against any religion. State cannot discriminate against Hinduism. State cannot discriminate against Islam. Okay, so secularism means that all the religions are equal in the eyes of state. There is no official religion of the state. Religion cannot interfere in the working of the state. Okay friends, if any decision is taken, the decision is not taken keeping in mind the sentiments of any religion. The decision is taken on the basis of the objective value of that decision. Okay friends, so secularism means what? Secularism means that there is no official religion of the state. Secularism means state is equally away from all the religions. Secularism means there is no favorite religion of the state. State cannot favor to any religion. State cannot discriminate against any religion, or all the religions are equal in the eyes of state. Friends, later on when I will teach you secularism, then I will explain you the topic of secularism in much detail. because here our main motive is to understand the meaning of constitution. So here I am giving you just a little idea about secularism. Now friends, what is the meaning of republic? Republic means the head of the state is not hereditary. So what is meant by hereditary head? Hereditary means the son of the king will become the king. But this is not a system in India. In India, the son of king does not become king. So republic means that the head of the state is not hereditary, but it should be elected. Okay. So in India, who is head of the state? In India, head of the state is president. So we know that president is elected. President is not hereditary. What is meant by democracy? Okay, because the term is democratic republic. Democracy means the rule of people. Okay, a system of governance where people rules. Okay, so there can be two type of democracies: direct democracy and indirect democracy. What happens in direct democracy is all the people come together and they make their laws. Okay, the best example of direct democracy we can see in Switzerland. Okay, but friends, for big countries like India, USA, it is not possible that all the people will come together, sit at a place, and they will make laws. It is next to impossible because the population of India is 130 crores. So it is practically impossible that one day all the people of India will assemble and they will make laws. So for such a big countries, indirect or representative democracy or indirect democracy is suitable. So what is indirect democracy? Indirect democracy is also called as representative democracy. So what happens in representative democracy is that people choose their representatives. For example, we choose our MLAs, MPs, member of legislative assembly, member of parliament. Okay, and then they will make law. They will make law for us. Okay. Now friends, what is socialist? So socialism, what is socialism? Socialism means equitable distribution of resources in the society. So friends, later on I will teach you socialism in much detail, but in order to give you an idea of socialism, I will give you an example. Suppose there are 100 people, there are 100 persons in a country and there are 100 coins. So the socialism says that each person should receive one coin, means equitable distribution of resources. Okay, no, there should not be the concentration of resources in single hand. Now friends, before explaining you the concept of organization of government, I would like to explain you what is meant by that constitution determines the extent of sovereign power and manner to exercise this power. Okay, so friends, we know that India is a sovereign state. Indian government is sovereign. It has sovereign powers. Okay, but the constitution limits the power of the government, and constitution also tells the government that how to use these powers. I will explain you it with the help of an example. For example, state has the power to arrest you if you do anything wrong or if you violate the law. So state or the government or the police has the power to arrest you. Okay. But according to the article 22 of the constitution, you have the right to know the ground of arrest at the time of arrest. Means when police is arresting you, you have the right to know the ground of arrest, that why policeman is arresting you. Okay. So what is this? This is the limit on the power of government, that government cannot arrest you arbitrarily. Okay, it is not like that government wish and means government like to arrest you and government will come and government will arrest you. Okay, so what is the correct procedure? That government can only arrest you when you will violate the law, and when the police is arresting you, you have the right to know the ground of arrest. So this is a limit on the power of government, and also here constitution is telling the government that how to use your power. Constitution is telling the government that when you are going to arrest a person, then you should tell him that why we are arresting you. Okay. Now you have the right under article 22 that you should be produced before a magistrate within 24 hours of arrest. It means that again constitution is limiting the power of government, that government cannot keep you in custody for any period. Government is duty bound, police is duty bound to produce you before a magistrate within 24 hours. Why? Because magistrate is a judiciary. Magistrate is not a executive wing of government. Magistrate comes under the judicial wing of government. Okay. Now under Article 22 itself, police cannot keep you in custody after the period beyond the period specified by the magistrate. Means what is this? This is the limit over the power of government, that police cannot keep you in custody beyond the period specified by the magistrate. Okay. Policemen cannot do whatever they want. They have to do their duty in accordance with the articles of the constitution. Okay. So here in this example I have explained you that constitution is placing a limit over the power of government. It means that constitution is determining the extent of the sovereign powers of government. Means up to this extent government can use its sovereign power, and constitution is also defining the manner in which government has to use its power. Government has the power to arrest you, but government has to arrest you in the manner prescribed by the constitution. When arresting, policeman has to tell you the reason of your arrest, and without any reason they cannot arrest you. So what is this? This is the manner to exercise the power and limit over the sovereign power of the government. So friends, now I will explain you what is the meaning of the organization of government. Organization means the design of government, how government is designed. So friends, in any indirect democracy or representative democracy, there are two forms of government: parliamentary form of government or presidential form of government. For example, parliamentary form of government is followed in India, United Kingdom, and presidential form of government is followed in United States of America. So what is the difference between parliamentary form of government and presidential form of government? So friends, later on I will teach you a principle of separation of power. Okay, so what this principle of separation of power says? It says that all the powers of the government, all the powers of the government should not be concentrated in one hand. Okay, what are the powers of government? Government has three basic powers. Government has the power to make law. Okay, government has the power to implement these laws, to execute these laws. Okay, and third, government has the power to punish those who violates the law. Okay, so what the principle of separation of power says? Principle of separation of power says that all the three powers of the government should not be concentrated in single hand. Why? Because as our father of nation Mahatma Gandhi has said that power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So if you will give absolute power to a person, then he will be corrupt absolutely. Okay, and then he will ruin the future of the country. So presidential form of government. So in presidential form of government, the three powers of the government, that is making law, executing law, and adjudicating law, that means punishing those who violate the law, are vested in three different bodies. Okay, legislature is the body which makes law. Executive is the body of the government, or executive is the part of the government which executes the law or implement the laws made by legislature. Judiciary is the part of the government, or judiciary is the body which give punishment to those who violates the law. Judiciary also keeps a check on the functioning of legislature and executive. Judiciary sees whether legislature and executive are working well or not. So these three powers of the government are vested in three different organs. So in any presidential form of government, legislature is a separate body, executive is a separate body, judiciary is a separate body, and there is no interference between each other. Okay, means there is no overlapping. Legislature is a totally different body, executive is a different body, judiciary is a different body. But this scene is little bit different in parliamentary form of government. Now as you can see in the Venn diagram, what happens in parliamentary form of government is judiciary is totally separate. Judiciary is totally separate, but executive is the part of legislature. Okay, executive executive is the part of legislature. Now to explain you this, I will give you a very simple example so that all students can connect. Suppose there is a class and there are 100 students in that class. Now teacher has appointed 4 students as monitor, that is one monitor per 25 students, that these 4 monitors will maintain discipline in the class. So what are the functions of a monitor? Monitor will maintain discipline in the class, or in the tech language we can say monitor will maintain law and order in the class. Monitor will note down the names of those students who will make noise. Okay, so what monitor is doing? Monitor is doing the function of the executive wing of the government. Now friends, who is monitor? Monitor at first is the member of class. He himself is a student. So at first he is the member of class, and after that he is monitor. So he has two roles. His first role is as student. He is the member of class, and his second role is as monitor. Okay. So now if you think these 4 monitors as the executive, so this executive is the part of legislature. The entire class is legislature and these 4 monitors are executive. So these 4 monitors are the part of executive, but at first they are the part of class. They are also the students. So here what is happening, that executive is a part of legislature. The same principle is applied in the parliamentary form of government. Okay, so there is a legislature and some members of this legislature forms the executive and they becomes the executive wing of the government. So friends, to explain you it more clearly, I will explain you it further to you. So I will give you the example of India. In India, the legislature is called as parliament. Okay, what legislature is called? Legislature is called as parliament. The union legislature of India is called as parliament. There are 2 houses of parliament, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Okay, there are two houses of parliament, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Now friends, there are 245 members in Rajya Sabha and 543 members in Lok Sabha. These 543 members of Lok Sabha are directly elected by people through general election. And out of these 245 members of Rajya Sabha, 12 members are nominated by the President of India on the basis of their extraordinary work in the field of art, science, literature or social service. Okay, these 12 members are nominated on the basis of their extraordinary work or contribution or their skills in art, science, social service and literature. For example, I think you all must know about Sachin Tendulkar. So Sachin Tendulkar became the member of Rajya Sabha. How? Because he was a cricketer. What is cricket? Cricket is a sports. And what is sports? Sports is a art. So due to his special contribution in the field of arts, due to his special abilities in the field of arts, he was nominated as the member of Rajya Sabha. Now remaining 233 members of Rajya Sabha are elected indirectly. Now what is the meaning of indirect election? They are elected indirectly means these members are elected by the MLAs. Now who are MLA? MLA means the member of Legislative Assembly. Friends, just like we have parliament at the union level, similarly at the state level we have legislature. Legislature means law making body. Okay, so the law making body of the state is known as Legislative Assembly, and the members of these legislative assemblies are known as member of Legislative Assembly or MLAs. Okay, so these 233 members of Rajya Sabha are elected by the MLAs of state. Okay friends, now friends, Lok Sabha is called as lower house and Rajya Sabha is called as upper house. Now why Lok Sabha is called as lower house and why Rajya Sabha is called as upper house? Lok Sabha is called as lower house because it is more close to people and Rajya Sabha is little far from people. How? Because the members of Lok Sabha are directly elected by the people. You all must have listened about the general election taking place in the country. Okay, the elections which took place in year 2019. Okay, through which we all have elected the Modi government. Okay, friends. So these 543 members of the Lok Sabha are elected directly by the people. That's why this house is more close to people, and that's why this house is known as lower house, because people are at ground and this house is directly elected by people. So this is more close to people, and that's why it is known as lower house. Now the members of Rajya Sabha are elected by the MLAs of state. So these members are not elected directly by people. So this house is little far from the reach of people. That's why it is known as upper house. Friends, for this reason, Lok Sabha is known as the house of people, because there is a representation of people in Lok Sabha, and Rajya Sabha is known as the house of state. Okay. Now friends, why Rajya Sabha is called as the house of state, and why Rajya Sabha is called as the house of state, and what is the meaning of the house of state, I will tell you all this when I will teach you federation. India is a federal country. So when I will teach you federation, actually India is a federation sui generis. So when I will teach you federation, then I will teach you what is the meaning of house of state, and what is the and why Rajya Sabha is called as the house of state. Currently you should try to focus on that. Lok Sabha has 543 members and Rajya Sabha has 245 members. Friends, earlier there used to be 545 members in Lok Sabha. 543 members were directly elected by people, and two members were nominated. Two members of Anglo-Indian community were nominated by the President of India to the Lok Sabha. But by 104th Amendment Act, the nomination of the members of Anglo-Indian community is removed. Okay, so now there is no more nomination for the members of Anglo-Indian community in Lok Sabha. So what is the current maximum strength of Lok Sabha? It is 543, and all these people are elected directly by the people. So friends, what is the function of Lok Sabha? What is the function of Rajya Sabha? As they are the part of parliament, and parliament is legislature. Legislature means law making body. So the main function of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha is law making. Actually there are three parts of parliament: Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha and President, and there are two houses. There is a difference. There are three parts of parliament and two houses of parliament. Three parts are Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha and President, and two houses are Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So why President is the part of parliament? Because whenever any bill is passed, so first of all a bill is passed by Lok Sabha, after that the bill is passed by Rajya Sabha, then the signature or the assent of the President is compulsory for the bill to convert that bill into act. A bill becomes act only when it gets the assent of President. So President is also involved in the process of law making. Okay, so that's why there are three parts of parliament: Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha and President. But there are only two houses of parliament: Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. When I will teach you the lecture of President, then I will teach you it in detail, that what are the functions of President and all that. Now friends, I will tell you more about Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So friends, what is the term of Lok Sabha? Now what is meant by the term of Lok Sabha? Term of Lok Sabha means for how much time the members of Lok Sabha remain in their office. For example, we know that any government servant get retirement at the age of 60 or 62. Okay, so for how much time the members of Lok Sabha remain in their office. So the term of Lok Sabha is 5 years. For example, this Lok Sabha is constituted in 2019. Elections happened in 2019 and we elected Modi government. So after 5 years, that is in 2024, this Lok Sabha will be dissolved. Okay, so friends, after the formation of Lok Sabha, so after the 5 years of the formation of Lok Sabha is dissolved by the President of India. Now what is meant by the dissolution of Lok Sabha? So I will explain it to you with the help of an example. Suppose there is a glass and there is a water in that glass, and if you will pour all the water outside the glass, then and now the glass is empty, then I will say that the glass has been dissolved. Means all the content inside the glass is now emptied. Similarly, if you will compare Lok Sabha with the glass and water with the MPs, then we will say that when all the MPs of the Lok Sabha are thrown out of the house, thrown out not in the literal sense, means they get retirement. Okay, so when all the MPs of the Lok Sabha are thrown out of the house and the house is vacated, house is vacant, then we call that Lok Sabha is dissolved. Okay. So after 5 years of the formation of Lok Sabha is dissolved by the president. But friends, unlike Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha never dissolves. Okay, Rajya Sabha never dissolves. Okay, it never happens that all the members goes out of Rajya Sabha in a single go. Okay, so now you will ask that, sir, if Rajya Sabha never dissolves, then how new members comes in Rajya Sabha and how old members goes out of Rajya Sabha? So friends, every second year, 1/3 of the members of Rajya Sabha take their retirement. Okay, every second year, 1/3 of the members of the Rajya Sabha take retirement, and new members comes into Rajya Sabha through fresh elections. Okay. Now, please don't get confused that okay friends. So, what is the term of the member of Rajya Sabha? The term of the member of Rajya Sabha is 6 years. Okay. So, friends, now you please don't get confused that the term of the member is 6 years. Okay. That he will take retirement after 6 years of the joining. Then what is meant that when I say that every second year, 1/3 of the members of Rajya Sabha take retirement. So I will explain you it with the help of an example. Suppose in year 2000, a person named Rahul took the membership of Rajya Sabha. Okay. In 2002, another man took the membership of Rajya Sabha. In 2004, another member took the membership of Rajya Sabha. Okay. Now friends, the member who took the membership of Rajya Sabha in year 2000, okay, he will take retirement or he will get retired in year 2006. Okay. And the member who took the membership of Rajya Sabha in 2002, he will get retirement or he will get retired in year 2008. And the member who took the membership of Rajya Sabha in year 2004, he will get his retirement in year 2010. Okay. So the first member is retired in which year? He got his retirement in 2006. The second member got his retirement in 2008. The third member got his retirement in 2010. So this is the actual procedure, that what happens that every second year, 1/3 of the members take retirement and the same amount of members comes into the Rajya Sabha. Okay. So this is the procedure of the admission of new members and the retirements of member in Rajya Sabha. So this process continues and Rajya Sabha never dissolves. Now friends, I told you that Lok Sabha is dissolved by the president after the 5 years of its formation. Okay. Now I will tell you more about Lok Sabha and I will tell you how the government is elected. So friends, you all must have listened about 2019 general elections. Actually, when we are saying that we are going to elect government, okay, all around there was a news that elections are going on. Okay, someone was saying that I will give my vote to BJP, Modi. Someone was saying that I will give my vote to Congress, Rahul Gandhi. Okay, someone was saying that I will give my vote to Communist Party. Someone was giving his vote to Aam Aadmi Party and so on. Okay, so at that point of time in 2019, actually you were electing the members for Lok Sabha. They were the Lok Sabha election. Okay. Now you will ask, sir, if we elected the members of Lok Sabha, then how the government formed? So now I will explain you how the government is formed. So friends, we know that the current strength of the Lok Sabha is 543. So through general elections, we elect these 543 members of Lok Sabha. Okay. Now there is party politics in India. There are different parties in India. There is BJP, there is Congress, and different candidates belong to different parties. Okay. So now BJP will get certain seats. Seats means members. Okay, so BJP will get certain seats, Congress will get certain seats, Aam Aadmi Party will also get certain seats in Lok Sabha. So suppose BJP got 300 seats in Lok Sabha. Okay, Congress got 50 seats in Lok Sabha, Aam Aadmi Party got 40 seats in Lok Sabha, and so on. Okay, now who will form the government? The party having more than 50% seats will form the government. So what is the membership of Lok Sabha? The membership of Lok Sabha is 543. So the party having more than 543 divided by 2 seats means the party having more than 50% seats will form the government. Okay, now how the government will be formed? Suppose now BJP got 300 seats. So BJP, these all are hypothetical numbers. Okay, I don't know the actual numbers. So what happened? BJP got 300 seats. Okay, means BJP got more than 50% seats. Now what president will do? President will call the leader of BJP. President will call the leader of majority party to form the government. Okay, now who is the leader of BJP? The leader of BJP is Mr. Narendra Modi. So Mr. Narendra Modi will come and president will say him to form the government, and president will appoint Mr. Narendra Modi as the Prime Minister of India. Okay, so what president will do? President will appoint the leader of majority party as the Prime Minister of India. Okay, so now party is decided. So first of all, what is decided? Party is decided that the party having more than 50% seats in Lok Sabha will form the government. Okay, now who will become the Prime Minister? The leader of the party will become the Prime Minister. President will call the leader of the party to form the government. So first party is decided that this party will form the government. After that, Prime Minister is decided that this person will become the Prime Minister. After that, Prime Minister has the exclusive power to choose his ministerial cell. Okay, Prime Minister chooses that these persons will become ministers. Okay, now friends, to form the government, the 50% majority should exclusively from the Lok Sabha. Okay, the majority is only counted from the Lok Sabha seats. Majority is not counted from the Rajya Sabha. Okay, so to form the government, this 50% majority should exclusively from Lok Sabha, but ministers can be chosen from Lok Sabha as well as Rajya Sabha. So please keep this point in mind that to form the government, 50% majority is seen only in Lok Sabha, but ministers can be taken from Lok Sabha as well as Rajya Sabha. So please see this diagram carefully. Here the upper circle represents Rajya Sabha, lower circle represents Lok Sabha. This big blue star represents Prime Minister of India. This black cloud represents the government, and all the stars outside the cloud are actually the MPs, Member of Parliament, and these MPs are not the ministers, and all the stars inside the cloud are the ministers. Okay, so now you will get a clear idea that what is the meaning that executive is the part of legislature. So friends, this blue star is Mr. Narendra Modi. So he is the Prime Minister. Now he will choose his minister friends. Okay, now he will choose his ministers. So these 4 stars in Rajya Sabha and these 4 stars in Lok Sabha, they will become the minister. So what this cloud represents? This black cloud represents the government. Okay, so friends, this black cloud is government or the executive, and all the stars in this black cloud represents the candidates who are ministers as well as member of parliament. Okay, so all the stars outside this cloud are member of parliament only, but all the stars inside the cloud are ministers plus member of parliament, and they are minister first. Oh sorry, they are member of parliament first, and after member of parliament they are minister, because at first they took the membership of house, and after taking the membership of house they became the minister. Okay, so now I think you get a better idea of what is meant by the executive is the part of legislature. Why? Because legislature is what is legislature? Legislature is Rajya Sabha plus Lok Sabha, means this green circle plus this pink circle. But what is the government? Government is this black cloud. Government is the part of legislature. So government is formed from within the houses of parliament. Government is chosen. The member of government are chosen from within the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Okay. Now friends, to be a minister, if a person wants to be a minister, it is a compulsory that he should be the member of the either house of parliament. He can be the member of Lok Sabha or he can be the member of Rajya Sabha. But it is a must that a person should be a member of the either house of parliament to become the minister. But if a person is elected as a minister who is not the member of the either house of parliament, then he has to acquire the membership of the either house within 6 months. Okay. So if a person is appointed as a minister by the Prime Minister of India who is not the member of either house of parliament, then this minister has to acquire the membership of either Rajya Sabha or Lok Sabha within 6 months. Otherwise, his ministership will be cancelled. Okay. So what is the meaning that executive is the part of legislature? It means that the member of executive are chosen from within the members of legislature. Okay. Members of executive are chosen from within the members of legislature, and the members of executive are at first the members of legislature. Okay. For example, these stars in the cloud, all the stars in the cloud, they are at first the member of parliament, and after that they are the ministers. And friends, let me make you clear that a minister can perform one duty at a time. Means a person can perform a single duty at a time. When he is performing the duty of member of parliament, then he cannot perform the duty of minister. When he is performing the duty of MP, then he is only a MP, he is not a minister. And when he is performing the duty of minister, then he cannot perform the duty of member of parliament. Then he can only perform the duty of minister, and he will call himself minister. Okay. So these members can perform only a single duty at a time. They cannot perform both duties together. Okay. So friends, now I hope you are clear with the meaning of what is meant by executive is the part of legislature. So friends, this all is the design of government. So what was the point which I was explaining is that organization of government. Constitution gives the organization of the government. So how the government of India is organized? Okay. So I have given you a little idea about this. In the forthcoming classes, I will explain you it with more clearly. Now friends, I will tell you more about Constitution. So friends, Constitution is the supreme law of the land, and all the laws, in order to be valid, shall have to conform to the Constitution. Now, what is the meaning of this statement? So, as I have already told you that Constitution is the first law and Constitution is the supreme law. Constitution is not dependent on the other laws for its survival, but other laws are dependent on the Constitution for their survival. Other laws are subordinate to Constitution. Other laws are inferior to Constitution. If there is a conflict between the provisions of Constitution and other laws, then the constitutional law will prevail. Okay. So Constitution is the supreme law. So I will explain it to you with the help of an example. So friends, there was a section 377 of IPC. And what was the section 377 of IPC? Section 377 of IPC was dealing with homosexuality. Okay. And what is homosexuality? Friends, homosexuality was criminalized by the section 377 of IPC. Now homosexuality is natural. Someone is homosexual. So in this, there is no fault. Okay, so it is not his fault that he is homosexual. Okay, it is all natural. And what section 377 was doing, that 377 criminalized the homosexuality. Okay, means doing homosexuality is a crime, but it is a natural thing. It is no one's fault that he is homosexual. Okay, so friends, what section 377 was doing is, Section 377 of IPC was violating the Article 21 of Indian Constitution. Now, what is Article 21 of Indian Constitution? Article 21 of Indian Constitution deals with the right to life and personal liberty. Okay, so here by stopping the homosexuals, okay, by stopping the homosexuals and by criminalizing the homosexuality, they are depriving them from their personal liberty. So Article 370, so Section 377 of IPC was violative of the Article 21 of the Indian Constitution because it was depriving the homosexuals from their personal liberty. So this section was declared null and void by the Supreme Court, means it is invalid. Friends, you all must have listened about the instant triple talaq. Now what instant triple talaq was doing? Instant triple talaq was violative of Article 14, right to equality, because it was discriminatory against women. Man has extra power. Okay, what is instant triple talaq? In instant triple talaq, the Muslim men had the power to give talaq to their wives by instantly saying talaq, talaq, talaq. Okay, and it is a very heinous act. Because why it is a heinous act? Because it can ruin the entire life of a woman. So first of all, it is violating the Article 14, that is right to equality. Okay, and why it is violating Article 14? Because it is discriminatory against women. It is doing discrimination to a particular gender, that is woman. It is giving special power to men to ruin the life of women. Okay, and moreover, Article 21 says that right to life and personal liberty. Okay, so what instant triple talaq was doing? Instant triple talaq was ruining the life of a woman. If a woman is innocent and his husband, out of anger or anything else, give her instant triple talaq, then her entire life is wasted. So it was also declared null and void by the Supreme Court. Now friends, what is NJAC? NJAC is National Judicial Appointment Commission. So what is NJAC? So what happens is that currently the appointment of the judges of Supreme Court and High Court is done by court itself. But through NJAC, means National Judicial Appointment Commission, government wanted to control the appointment of the judges of Supreme Court and High Court. Okay. Now this was against the basic structure of Constitution. Why? Because the basic structure of the Constitution says that judiciary should be independent. Basic structure talks about the independence of judiciary, but by controlling their appointment, government can influence the decision making of judiciary. So it was again declared null and void by the Supreme Court. Now friends, what are customs? Customs are nothing but the laws of society, the prevalent laws in the society. So you all must have listened about many customs. So now I will tell you the cases of custom versus constitution. So friends, the entry of women was prohibited in many temples like Shani Shignapur temple, and you all must have listened about the Sabrimala temple. Okay, I have also discussed about the Sabrimala case in my previous lecture. So the entry of women was prohibited in the premises of the temple like Sabrimala temple, Shani Shignapur temple. Now this practice was violative of Article 14, Article 15 clause 2 and moreover Article 21. Why Article 14? Because Article 14 says right to equality. Okay, but this practice was discriminating women. Okay, this practice was discriminatory against women. Why? Because this practice was especially stopping women to enter into the temple. Now Article 15 clause 2. Article 15 clause 2 deals about the entry in public places. It reads like, Article 15 clause 2 prohibits state and individuals both from discriminating against any citizen only on the ground of religion, race, caste, sex, place of birth, or any of them in having access to public places such as parks, hotels, temples, hospitals, entertainment hubs, etc., or wells, tanks, ghats, roads maintained out of state's fund. Okay, so what was happening in this practice? Women were stopped from entering into the temple premises. So, and what Article 15 clause 2 says? Article 15 clause 2 says that the entry of no one can be prohibited, no one can be stopped from entering into the public property. Okay, so it was violated of Article 15 clause 2. Moreover, it was violated of Article 21. Why? Because Article 21 is right to life and personal liberty, and Supreme Court said that Article 21 just not guarantees life, it guarantees dignified life. A life without no dignity is no life. If you don't have dignity in your life, if you don't have your respect, then it is no life. Okay, so because this was against dignity of woman, someone is stopping you from entering a place based on your impurity. The temple authorities are saying that women are impure, that's why they are not allowed inside the temple premises. Okay, so this practice was hurting the dignity of women, that's why this practice was also declared null and void by the Supreme Court. What was sati pratha? Sati pratha means when sati pratha means women were burnt with their husband's dead body. Okay, now what are you doing? You are depriving someone of his life. You are depriving a woman of her life. So this practice was also against Article 21, because here you are directly snatching the life of someone. So it was also banned by the Supreme Court. Okay friends, similarly there are many other practices also, like child marriage, dowry. They all were declared invalid and null and void by the Supreme Court of India. So friends, now I will tell you more about constitution, that what is constitution. So friends, constitution has a special legal sanctity. Now what is the meaning of the statement that constitution has a special legal sanctity? It means that constitution has a special status. Constitution has a special holiness. Sanctity means holiness. For example, Bhagavad Gita has a special sanctity in Hinduism. Quran has a special sanctity in Islam. Similarly, Constitution has a special legal sanctity in the legal framework of India. Why? Why Constitution has a special legal sanctity? Why this holiness is given to the Constitution? Because Constitution derives its all powers and authority from people directly. We know that India is a democracy. Democracy means rule of people. So who is sovereign? People are sovereign because it is a rule of people. Okay. So and people have transferred their all power to the Constitution. So that's why Constitution is all powerful. And from where you find that people has transferred its all power to Constitution? Okay, where can you find that people has transferred their all power to Constitution? Okay, you can find it in the preamble of India, the first and the last line of preamble of India, that we the people of India. Okay, and the last line, in our constituent assembly this 26th day of November 1949 do hereby adopt, enact and give to ourselves this constitution. It means that people of India has made this constitution. People of India has enacted this constitution, they have adopted this constitution and they have given this constitution to themselves. That's why constitution has a special legal sanctity. Now friends, constitution regulates the relationship between citizens and government. Now what does it mean that constitution regulates the relationship between citizens and the government? It means that citizens give vote to government. Okay, so these are the relationship between citizen and government. Citizen give vote to government. So where it is written that citizens will give vote to government, who will give vote? Where the principle of universal adult franchise is given, where it is written that all the adults above the age of 18 shall vote. Where it is written? It is written in the constitution. Okay, so citizens give vote to the government. Citizens perform their fundamental duty for state, society and for government. Okay, so citizens give vote to government, citizens perform fundamental duties. Okay, now what government gives to us? Government has given us citizenship. You all must have Aadhaar card. What is Aadhaar card? Aadhaar card is the proof of your citizenship. So government gives us citizenship. Government can also take back your citizenship. Government can take back your citizenship in the case of treason, Deshdroh. If you have done the act of treason, then government can snatch your citizenship. Government has given you fundamental rights. Okay, the fundamental rights are given from Article 12 to Article 35 of the Indian Constitution. So government have given you certain rights which you enjoy against the government. So government gives you fundamental rights. So where these fundamental rights are given, where this citizenship is given, okay, where these fundamental duties are given, these all are given in the Constitution of India. So we can say that Constitution regulates and manages the relationship between citizens and the government. So friends, I hope you all have enjoyed the lecture. So I request you all to like the video, share the video, subscribe to my channel, press the bell icon and share this video to all the people you know who are preparing for UPSC so that they can get a lot of benefit out of this. Friends, I will take next class on Wednesday and from next class we will continue our discussion with Constitution further. Okay friends, till then take care of yourself. Thank you.